Well, first off, let's just say this whole thing could be for publicity, and who cares? It's what's going on in the now. After the Monique interview went down with Charlamagne, he always takes his lumps over that when it comes to the black community. Everybody sees what he is, basically, and now people are starting to wake up. And Maul just hates him. If Maul don't like you, he just let it be known. Like, Maul really don't like this dude. He sided with academics and went over there and told academics how they be hating on your channel. They don't really like you. These dudes are really thinking with you. They ain't with you to try. He saw that as a sucker move. Maul saw that as a sucker move. Trying to put hate and started, some dissension before it even took place. And this was a while ago, back when academics thought, Charlamagne had his best interest in hand. Then he found out that Carcino was right. Charlamagne didn't have his best interest in hand. It's like, hey, wait a minute. You ain't trying to help me. No, sucker. I'm trying to help you. What would I be helping you for? So, with that being said, everything moves forward. And he heads over to getting his own thing set up in the way. And Maul kind of went in, was saying how it was over because of the Monique interview. A lot of people was glad to hear Monique give it to him like that. It was like, it's over for Charlamagne the God over there because of what happened. So Charlamagne decided he got a show to do. They don't have no real topics today, so let's see what we can talk about. Let's talk about Joe Budden's podcast talking about Monique. And let's address Maul from Joe Budden's podcast. Because, yes, Maul is big enough for us to address on this podcast show. So I can start stroking my ego and start boasting about numbers that the show does collectively, which defeats my argument that I had against Monique about her relevance. Monique comes on the show, and the show is through the roof. The largest show they done this year. But, yeah, he tries to cover that up by throwing other people's numbers out. But let's hear what Charlamagne got to say.
Finished letting me hear Joe Budden's podcast. I listen to Joe Budden podcast every week anyway.
Okay.
By the way, salute to Joe Budden, salute to Rory, salute to Mal. I listen to their podcast every week. I think it's a very entertaining podcast.
Yeah.
But I was listening to Mal. They was talking about the Monique interview on the Breakfast Club, which we'll get into in a minute.
Yes.
And I heard Mal say that the Breakfast Club is finished. He said it was over for me. Charlamagne the God. He said it was over for me because Monique came into the Breakfast Club studio and respectfully got me the fuck up out of here, and now my name is Leonard. Let's talk analytics for a goddamn second, Maul. Because I was waiting for. I like a good hot take. I love a great hot take.
What is his hot take?
That was my thing. He said that, so that's the hot take. So I want to know what's the reasoning behind that.
But what is he claiming? I need to know what he's
claiming that the Breakfast Club is over. And
because
that Charlamagne the God is over because of Monique. Because Monique came in there and respectfully got me the fuck up out of there.
So the Breakfast Club is over.
Yes.
Because an interview on the Breakfast Club became national news and a #1 trending topic on YouTube.
I don't understand
Explain
what Mal is talking about.
Explain to me what makes something on.
Yeah, by the way, the same things that we've been doing for the past 8 years. Like the Breakfast Club is always consistent with interviews, but then every now and then we get one of those ones where somebody comes in there and yells and screams at Charlamagne or does whatever, and then it goes super viral.
Do you know what mal means in Spanish?
Mal?
Mal.
Mal. What does it mean?
Bad. And that's exactly what that take was. Your take lived up to your name, Mal.
Listen, Mal.
Muy mal.
Mal, if it's
Muy
not,
mal.
If it's not your cup of tea anymore, I understand. But we got to stop doing this thing in the culture where we just throw things out there with nothing behind them. If that's how you feel, fine.
Yeah.
But when you talk about things that can actually be proven, Breakfast Club, we're in 81 markets across the country. right? We're in 150 countries via an armed forces network, okay? We were just on the cover of the Source magazine. Charlamagne the God is an individual. We just launched Noriega's show, On the Run Eating on Complex. I'm executive producer of that. You can check that out.
Yeah.
We got...
You don't even need a qualifier.
I'm not going to qualify myself, but I do want to say a couple things because I was going to talk about these things anyway. The Hollywood Reporter, thank you to them. You know what I mean? I was number 9 in TV personalities on their social list last week. And this week I'm number 7, I believe.
That's what's up.
No,
okay.
And right again, he's stroking his ego. So right away he starts stroking his ego and being Charlamagne and starts pointing out the fact of his accomplishments. Now this whole thing to me is staged with Joe Budden's podcast. See, whenever there's a slow week or if there's nothing really going on and nothing's really popping off, you know, you gotta actually go to the point where this is where your direction is. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is where your energy lies. Like, let's call my good buddy Joe and let's get some back and forth going. You know, I'll throw Maul's name in it so that Maul can start getting some shine. I won't just say, I'll put Joe Budden podcast with Maul. You know, I respect Maul and all that. I'm just saying, you know, I got to respond back. So now Maul comes out there. Maul responds to Charlamagne. You know, so it made for great radio. Maul isn't the type that... I think he was very serious in what he was saying as far as joking, and Charlamagne want to throw numbers out. And here's Maul's response, you know. I like good entertainment when it's good entertainment.
If you're listening to this podcast and make that sweatshirt, I will wear it on here too for free. Just send it to me in a medium, and I'll wear it.
From Iraq to Kuwait,
yes.
Who is that supposed to give me a full
Yes.
CNN?
Hey. We in wartime, nigga. Hey.
We're not in wartime.
Ain't no idiots brilliant, nigga. Hey. Ain't no clubbing at breakfast time, nigga. Shit on me.
That was trash anyway.
Niggas trying to shit on Maul? Huh?
Can't shit on Maul. You crazy?
Hold on, let me get a gunshot going. Swore like shit.
Y'all don't know about that.
I may have disagreed with Maul on his point, but now that it's war, I'm with Maul all the way.
No doubt.
It's over for the
Yo,
Breakfast
we at
Club.
war, man.
It's over for that shit.
We're not at war.
We're not.
No.
Which
man.
I thought it was weird because I was on their side.
I know. That's what
Now I'm on Maul's side.
I'm trying.
It's no war.
I was trying to be at war against Maul.
No, it ain't no war. I just, you know, I expressed my opinion, and I mean, I think just keep watching. Just keep watching. Everything I says comes to fruition, though. Tell me when I've been wrong about anything. It may take a couple months, but we gonna see.
So we
Gonna see.
The whole tell me when I was wrong
Yeah,
thing is tough. It's like,
Tell me when I was wrong about
I gotta really
something.
think about it for a minute.
Tell me.
But you know what I don't like?
Tell me.
You know what I don't like about the we'll see argument?
All right.
That nigga, the nigga that says we'll see is always kind of deep and brilliant. Like, ooh, we haven't.
I'm not even gonna say shit. I'm just gonna let it happen.
We haven't seen
Let it
yet.
happen, bro. It's true. Just let it happen.
All right, but what I'm saying to you is because Charlamagne's response, and for those of you who don't know, have no idea what I'm talking about. Maul said some things last week on our podcast. We're not going to spend too much time on this, and then Charlamagne responded on his podcast, and then we're responding on our podcast. It's Podcast Wars.
Stay in the car.
Yo, Podcast Wars.
Where's the gunshots at?
I'm looking for it right now. Okay, but respond to what he's saying about numbers because that's where he kind of got you out the paint a little bit.
I'm not a numbers nigga.
He got in his corporate thug shit. He did.
I'm not a corporate thug.
For real. When you go to the numbers,
Yeah, 50 did it for years.
yeah, that nigga went to
I'm
the
falling
numbers,
off
man.
where?
Yeah, man, but
And them numbers was impressive.
but numbers ain't everything though.
You're going off impact.
I'm going off just the vibes, man, and what the people saying. You know what I'm saying? The energy. You know what I mean? Nobody ain't really checking for that unless it's like some controversial guests up there. You know what I mean? Let's just be honest. I mean, salute.
I don't know.
Salute to them niggas, though. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest. Like, you know what I mean? I don't see nobody running around talking about, you know what I mean, that club. You know what I mean? Niggas don't even go to the
Whatever
club.
Maul say now, I'm on his side.
Yeah, niggas don't even go to the club.
Charlamagne,
I don't give a fuck about a fact.
I'm rolling Maul, man. Sorry.
got to.
Sorry, bro. No, I didn't want to. I wasn't trying to, but I mean, you backed me into a corner, and I'm still that type of loyal.
And don't get it twisted. I fuck with Charlamagne. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he's, you know, a very important figure in this media game. But you know, I'm just expressing my opinions.
All right, well, check this out, Charlamagne. I'm getting you the fuck out the paint a little later in this podcast, nigga. Not for your Breakfast Club shit. I think you guys are doing amazing. You guys are great. But you getting the fuck out the paint a little later in this podcast. Now, but that's not what we're starting with. You guys do not take presidents over, did I say presidents?
You did.
But anyway, you can go and watch the rest of that stuff and get caught up. I just wanted to give you the synopsis of what's going on between this whole little fake internet stuff that we find entertaining. Because, you know, Mr. Maine does get into his feelings because he's always searching on social media to see what he could steal and put up on his show from Monday to Friday. You know, we got to come up with content 365 days out of a year, but yet he get weekends off and still don't have the ingenuity to come up with something for 5 days in a row. He's only got to come up with one thing for 5 days in a row. We come up with like 7 things a day. 7, 365. And I'm saying that as a minimum. We come up with a minimum 7 different things, or we cover at least 7 different things every day. Now, somebody be like, well, you just responding to what's happening in the world. We do that, and then we do original topics. We do it all. I got a news channel, got a movie channel. We covering all the bases. Dotting every T, crossing the I's, all that. So that's where I'm at with it. So y'all let me know what y'all think about the whole situation, and that's about it, man. I'm done. How about